Hi guys, Al Smith here. Welcome to the last lesson on opening leads. This is the final lesson in the segment. Next week we start the defense by the third hand, partner of the opening leader, in terms of what cards to play, signals, a whole bunch of stuff. That's where the rubber really starts to meet the road. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. All right. In this lesson, we're going to discuss which card to lead. We went through the process of determining when to lead trump, and if we're not going to lead trump, what suit to lead. Now, we want to do the final decision. Remember, there's three decisions in this process: what type of lead to make, what suit to lead, and then what card. We're finally to what card to lead against the suit contract. It's actually very similar. The what to lead against the suit contract is actually quite a bit similar to that within the no trump contract. There's a couple little subtle differences. We'll talk about those. So the goal here is to take tricks, establish tricks, and erupt. Versus in no trump, it's to establish a long suit and then run it. So we know that we pretty well aren't going to be able to run a long suit in a suit contract if they're going to trump it. Okay, and we got what we call the normal situations in terms of leads, or what I'm going to call the priority sequence. And the first one, obviously, is if your partner told you to lead something by a lead directing double, or they bid a suit. Then those are the first choices. Okay, and if your partner bid a suit, there's a lot of discussions about whether it's a supported suit versus unsupported. Now, supported means that they opened a heart and you bid two hearts. That means you supported it. If you passed, it means it was unsupported. So that's just a clarification of terms. And then there's, of course, a suit that you bid. Hopefully you have something in it, and it's always nice when your partner supported it, indicating that they've got something in it. So let's continue. Then we're going down this priority list, and it's unbid suits, and then the dummy bid suit, and then finally the declare bid suit. The declare bid suit is always the last one unless we have a particular reason for leading that. Now, the declare bid suit is typically not trump. Okay, what we're talking about is which card to lead against that is in the non-trump area. We already talked a little bit about what card to lead if you're leading trump. Okay, now there are a couple of special conventional lead situations. I'm going to point those out. We're going to talk about one of them in a little bit of detail, but not the others. But there's a special situation where you're playing against the 5+ level contract and you have the ace, king, and the suit. Okay, now the real question there is, it's safe to lead the ace and then the king. And really, there's two things that you might want to ask about. One is, hey, partner, do you have the queen? Or how many cards do you have? We'll talk about that one. Next one is when your partner may have used the Rosencrantz double. Now, I'm not going to go into details about that here, but in essence, your partner is telling you whether they have an ace or king in the suit that you bid. That's always nice to know. Okay, and finally, we've got down here, I can't even see it, I'll move this, is the opening leader made a lead directing or a lightning double. And these are doubles that tell you what suit that they might have led. Okay, so those are what I call situational. Okay, and there are conventions associated with those. Let's look at the situation where your partner made a lead directing double, and we'll just include within that category also a lightning double, although I'm not going to discuss that as the subject of another lesson. Okay, and in this situation, when your partner makes a lead directing double in a suit contract versus a no trump contract, it indicates that they could have strength or they could have shortness. Okay, it isn't strictly reserved for strength. For example, I have ace, lead it to me. It could mean I have a void, lead it to me. So there's two different alternatives there. And the question is, which one is it? Okay, if you think it's strength, and you actually should be able to get some inkling for which one it is from the bidding and also from looking at your hand. But if you, let's see, why am I doing that? Okay, if you think it's strength, okay, you're going to make a suit preference lead signal if you do not have an honor in that suit. Okay, and we're going to talk a lot more about suit preference in the coming weeks, but in this particular case, if you low, it's pointing to a lower ranking suit. For example, if your partner did hearts and you led the two, it would kind of point towards the clubs and the diamonds. If you led higher, it should point towards the spades. Okay, and partners should be able to deduce what's going on by looking at the dummy in their hands once you've made the lead. Okay, and you know this is assuming that you don't have a power lead that you can make within your partners in the partner where your partners made the lead directly double. Okay, if you think it's shortness, okay, if you have the ace in that suit, lead it. Okay, if you underlead the ace, you're giving them the opportunity to take to make the king good. And if your partner's only got a singleton over there, okay, you've just given them a free trick. But if you lead the ace and then lead another one, and your partner roughs in, you've capitalized on the shortness that you deduced. So try not to ever underlead the ace unless you've got a very, very specific purpose for it. Okay, if you don't have the ace and you've got a perfect sequence or near perfect sequence power lead, go ahead and lead that. Okay, your goal in terms of leading that is to develop the suit as well as to give your partner the opportunity to rough it later. Now, there's two things you're going to try to avoid in this situation, and that's leading a broken sequence. Now, remember the broken sequences, for example, you have the king, jack, 10. You go, okay, and against no trump, you would lead the jack. Okay, but against the suit contract, you want to avoid that because especially if you think your partner has shortness in that, because what you're going to be doing is just finessing yourself. The same is true of the coded 9 and 10. Now, remember, this is in relationship to a suit that, based upon the bidding, you think your partner has shortness in. Okay, if it's an unbid suit, you really have no knowledge, and you're trying to develop that suit, the broken sequence leads and the code 9 to 10 are just fine. It only applies to this one particular situation. All right, now, if all else fails, you don't have ace, you don't have the power lead that you can make, okay, make a suit preference lead, just like above here. Low, pointing to a lower ranking suit, higher, pointing to a higher ranking suit. Okay, now your partner should be able to deduce this based upon what they see in their hand, what they see in the dummy, and then make an interpretation of what you're really asking for. It's not easy. You have to stay awake, and you have to really look at what cards are that your partner led, and what you have in your hand, and what's in the dummy, and also factor in all the information you collected during the bidding. Okay, yeah, let's look at the situation where your partner bid a suit. Okay, and it really doesn't matter whether it was supported or unsupported. The number of articles and things make a big deal out of that, but I think that just makes it too complicated. So I just treat supported and unsupported suits that my partner bid the same. Okay, and what you're trying to do here is the card led is going to be based upon the number of cards you have in that suit and whether you have the ace, king, or queen. So let's just kind of look at this. If you've got one card and you're leading it because your partner bid the suit, obviously you can only lead that one card, and it's not much of a choice. I guarantee it, you're going to get it right 100% of the time by leading that one card. Okay, so you've got a singleton, lead it. If you got a doubleton, okay, what we're going to do is lead the highest. Even if it's the ace X or the king X, we're going to lead the highest. Okay, and the reason for this is we want to unblock. We use this term a lot, but unblocking is so that you don't get locked in your hand and prevent your partner from taking more tricks in that suit. So remember that term and keep thinking about that term because it's really an important concept in defense. Okay, if you got 3 with the ace, okay, if there's any possibility of shortness, lead the ace. Okay, don't go to bed with your ace still in your hand and let them rough it on the second trick. Lead the ace. Now, if you think that shortness is very unlikely, okay, for example, they've been in support of the suit and they ended up with Trump being in a second suit. Okay, it's very unlikely they have shortness, and you don't have to. You can actually underlead the ace, and this is especially true if you think your partner might have a doubleton, okay, and that the opponents have uh, the remaining cards. Situations where you end up with 4, 4, 4, 1, your partner's got 1. If you underlead that ace, then take the ace on the second time, you'll see that your partner is void or that they had a doubleton because their signals are going to tell you that. Then you can lead it again and give them a rough. So there are some really good reasons for underleading the ace, especially if you think that's a suit that your partner is relatively short in and that the opponents might be trying to develop if you've got enough cards in that suit. Okay, so, and if you've got 4, you're going to lead 4th. If you've got 3, you're going to lead 3rd. If you've got 5, you're going to lead 4th. So you end up leading 4th or 3rd depending on how many cards you have in the suit. Okay, now if you've got 2 touching honors in your partner's suit, the Queen Jack, for example, or the Jack 10, you're going to lead the highest first. Okay, that's with 2 touching honors. Then, if that trick holds or you get back to the lead later, you're going to lead the next honor. In the situation with Queen Jack, you led the Queen first, then you're going to lead the Jack. That leaves you with the little card that allows you to lead that suit a 3rd time back to your partner and to unblock. Again, it's the same concept. Think about this concept over and over and over again. You got to make sure that you're unblocking so your partner can take tricks when that is the correct play. Okay. Now, if you've got split honors, and we've talked about this situation, where we see the King Jack 4 at 4. Okay. In this situation, you're going to lead the second honor. Okay, and the reason you're going to do that again is because we want to be able to unblock. Well, one, that by leading the Jack, it confuses the declarer because the declarer doesn't know where the king is. Okay, and it might actually make a mistake and actually give you another trick. Okay, and then your partner can come back to that sit in that suit where you can take the king or force out the last one and give them the lead again. You can lead that suit back to them again. So it's a basic strategy that you use regardless of whether it's a suit contract or no trump contract. Now, obviously, if you don't have any honor at all, you're going to want to try to communicate that to your partner, and you're going to lead the second highest. Okay, and when you lead that second highest, it's your partner's going to be able to deduce that you had lower cards and you didn't lead to that. Now, I think there was one alternative in there that I didn't put in there, that if you've got 3 with 1 honor, you're going to lead the lowest so that your partner can actually feed back to that honor. I got to make a note to put that in. This is slide 4. Okay, 3 with honor. Okay. All right. Now, if it's your suit, whether it was supported or unsupported, Okay, and there's different ways that can be supported. Okay, now I'm mentioning this again. And did your partner make or not make a Rosencrantz double? Now, there's other conventions that also come into play. And I point this out not because I want I'm not going to explain what the Rosencrantz double is or how it's used at this particular point in time, but it's extremely useful. For example, if you have made an overcall and your partner whispered in your ear, I've got the ace or the king, and you're looking in your hand, you have the other honor, you know pretty well that you've got the first two rounds of control of that particular suit. What the Rosencrantz double does and other conventions that are defense oriented in the bidding sequence is it allows you to tell your partner exactly that. The partner bids this, overcalls a spade. They bid something else. You double. It says, "Hey, partner, I've got the ace or the king." Okay, so there's ways of doing that. I just want to point that out so you know that it exists. It's a little early in this your bridge careers, maybe to understand the Rosencrantz double. You want to get into that, but it's there. Okay, now do you have the ace without the king? Actual or implied. By that I mean, uh, uh, and I'm not quite sure what I mean by that, but let's see. If yes, the opponent can have shortness, lead the ace, or a different suit. Now, okay. Now, if you lead the ace, you're implying that you have the king. Okay, there are reasons why you would lead that. Okay, especially in those situations where you don't have another good lead, and let's say you've got fairly long length, and you may think your partner has shortness. So you know that is kind of the unique situation. So try to kind of avoid. Remember, try to avoid leading that ace unless you have a particular reason to do that. Now, remember, this is a suit that you bid. Okay, now, if you bid the suit and your partner didn't support it, your partner probably has two or fewer in that suit, especially if they've got a couple of points, 6 or more points. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that this is one of those situations. If you don't have a whole bunch of them, let's say that you got 5 and you think the distribution is 5, 3, 3, 2 with your partner having 2. Underleading the ace in this situation can be a good move because you can then take the second trick and give your partner a rub. If your suit is a crappy suit, yeah, that's one of my favorite words, crappy, and your partner did not support it, find another suit. Don't leave. Find something else because it's obvious that the opponents have most of the cards in that suit, and you just be setting the suit up, even though you might even have 5 or 6 of them. They may set. You might be able setting up 3, 4, 5 tricks for them. So find a different suit. Okay, if you've got a good suit, now we're going to come back and we're going to use the same philosophy that we used in No Trump. We're going to make a sequence-based lead, a power lead. If we, for example, the king from the king queen space 10, or even better, the king queen jack. Okay, or the partial sequence of king queen, because all of these things are going to set up a trick or two if the opponents have the ace, or give us some immediate tricks if, lo and behold, our partner has the ace. So again, we're coming back down, defaulting to the power lead there. If and I talked about this a little bit early. If your suit is unsupported, where your partner hasn't told you whether to have anything in that suit again, try to avoid broken sequence or coded 9-10 lead, because you don't want to finesse yourself. See if you can find something else logically in your mind to pick from where you can help your partner develop a trick, and hopefully they can lead something back to you where then you can surround something in there from the declarer's hand, so that you can minimize the number of tricks that they take in that suit. If your suit is crappy but supported, okay, you bid a crappy suit. You didn't promise them a rose garden. You just promised them quantity, and your partner supported it. You go, aha, my partner must have something in it to support it. Not always true, but most of the time it is. So assume that they've got something good in it, and that it's going to complement what you have or don't have, and go ahead and lead it. Okay, leading unbid suit. Okay, what we're going to do here, if we get down to this, remember we're going down the priority street. We went lead directed, something our partner told us to lead, or what they bid, or what we bid. So you can see we're going down the priority list. Okay, we get to unbid suit. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to use the same rules that we apply in no trump in determining the card that we're going to lead. Okay, so that we actually get to reuse something that we lead. So in strong suits, we're going to make a power lead. And if we can't make a power lead, we're going to make a development. Okay, and if we now get to the point with respect to an unbid suit that we don't have a good power lead or development lead, remember, leads, it includes fourth from your fourth in the suit, so your partner can apply the rule of 11. Yes, we use the fourth from the fourth card leads in our suits against suit contracts, so our partner can apply the rule of 11 there. Remember, they're going to take the value of the card that you led, subtract that from 11. That's going to tell them how many cards are outstanding outside of your hand that are higher. You're going to look at the dummy, you're going to look at your hand, you're going to count those, and you're going to determine what the declarer has in that suit. So remember, you get that rule of 11 gets applied in a lot more places than just against no trump. Okay, against 3 from nothing, you're going to lead the second highest. Okay, and there's one acronym that's called MUD, middle up down. Okay, and you lead middle up down to, in essence, tell your partner that, hey, I don't have anything in it. By playing the higher card second, it says, hey, I've got more than 2. Okay, because remember, if you've got a double 10, you're going to lead high and then low. That's called an echo. And we don't want to deceive our partner into thinking that we have only 2 cards in that suit. When we lead middle, then we're going to go up higher with the next card we play in that suit. And because we don't have anything, it's not going to hurt us to throw away a little bit higher card, an 8 or 9 or something like that. Okay. Now, again, avoid leading the 9 or 10 when you're leading from a suit that has nothing in it. And the reason for this is you don't want to confuse your partner. You don't want them to think you're leading code at 9 or 10, because they're thinking through these opening leads in the same priority structure and say, okay, a code at 9 and 10 is a good power good power lead. Okay, you don't want them to think that a 9 from nothing or 10 from nothing is a power lead. So what you're going to do is you want to come down and lead an 8 or a 7 in that situation, and then play the higher card on the next turn. That way you make it easier on your partner by not confusing them. I hate confusing my partner. I hate it when my partner confuses me, because I get easily confused. Okay, in terms of shortness, okay, you have the shortness. Singletons are good, okay, because if you lead a singleton, your partner's got the ace, they take it, they lead back the suit, you get a run. Okay, it's kind of almost instantaneous gratification. Okay, doubletons aren't so good. Okay, as we talked before, if you've got a trump control, doubletons can be pretty good to lead. Okay, if it's a suit that your partner bid, doubletons can be a really good suit to lead. But if it's an unbid suit, and that's what we're talking about right now, doubletons are generally not good leads, because you're probably never ever going to be able to get a rough in that suit. Very, very unlikely. So unless you have specific information or think you have specific information that would make that a good lead, don't lead the double. Okay, unless you have a trump control. Okay, because that will allow you to get in back into the lead, relieve the suit, and hope that your partner, especially if they gave you a signal saying they had something in that suit, could take the trick and return it to you so that you could run. Okay, so be very wary of leading double teams. All right, just keep thinking about that. And remember, the only absolute rule in bridge is there are no absolute rules. So just be wary of leading doubletons. Sometimes you need to. It's the right lead. Sometimes you don't have a choice because you don't want to finesse yourself and you don't want to lead trump. So just be aware. All right. Now, there are other things that, you have a really long suit. It might be really crappy, but your partner very probably is going to be shorted. So if you think you have that situation and you can't make a power lead in that suit, then you're going to want to make a suit preference lead to begin with. All right. Okay. And if your partner's sitting there with a singleton in the suit, and you lead something like the 7, and they look at the dummy, and the dummy's got the king, queen, 10, 9, and they play low, and then they take it with the 8 in the declare's hand, you know that they've got all the cards in that particular suit, right? Okay, so you go, well, why in the heck did my partner lead the 8? Well, obviously, he wants you to lead back a higher ranking suit if you get into the lead. So he's giving you a suit preference signal. Okay, so by looking at what's in the dummy, of the cards that are played, what's in your hand, and so forth, you can easily deduce that that's what's happening, and that's the information your partner is trying to convey to you. Just think of them sitting there waving a flag saying, lead back a high suit. Okay, enough on that. Okay, now, there are times when you're working down a priority structure and you don't want to do any of the above. Have your partner didn't ask you to lead anything, they didn't bid anything, and you don't want to lead an unbid suit. Okay, so what's left? We've only got 2 things left. We've got, we can lead a suit that the dummy bid, or we can lead a suit that's non-trump that the declarer bid. Okay, and given the choice, obviously we don't want to do the latter. We don't want to lead into the strength of the declarer because we'll just be finessing ourselves and our partner. Okay, however, by leading through the suit that the dummy bid, we're leading through the strength, and the probability is significantly higher that our partner will have something in that suit. Okay, and it's even higher because the declarer didn't support that suit. So we get down that priority stream, we can then lead the suit that the dummy bid, and we're going to lead through the strength, and we're going to use the same methods that we used in the unbid suit. Okay, now in a declare bid suit, again, avoid it if you can. Okay, you're generally just going to be helping the declarer out. However, there are situations where you will want to do this. For example, your right-hand opponent is the declarer. They opened a spade, and you've got 5 spades. Okay, that says, well, they have 5, you've got 5, that's 10. It says your partner and the dummy are going to have shortness in that suit. Okay, and this is one of the ways that you sometimes can detect your partner has probable shortness. Okay, so if you've got really, if you really have nothing to protect in the declarer's bid suit, what does it hurt to lead the declarer's suit? Not a whole bunch if you don't have any other places where you think you can develop tricks. So you can actually lead that suit in that situation and hope that your partner has shortness And every once in a while, you'll be rewarded. Your partner will have a void and pump it on the first trick. So it does work at certain times. It would be nice if you could use mirrors, but that's illegal. Now, one of the things that you want to note too is the difference between the declare having been a major versus a minor. Now, many people play what's called a short club. Okay, and if they open one club, they're promising 2+ clubs, just 2. Okay, in normal standard American, they're promising 3+. Okay, so as many times when the declarer has opened one club, let's say the bidding has been one club, you passed, your left-hand opponent bid a heart, and then the declarer bid 2 hearts, that went 3 hearts, 4 hearts, so they end up in 4 hearts. So you know one thing, you know several things about the declarer's hand. You know that they've got 4 hearts. Okay, you know they don't have 5 hearts, because if they had 5 hearts and 5 clubs, they would have opened 1 heart. Okay, you know that they've got at least 3 clubs, but they probably, because they have the ability to support another suit, aren't going to be real long in clubs. So if you've got a bunch of clubs in your hands, you can actually consider that as a biddable match, a suit that you can bid naturally. Okay, and that you don't have to worry about as much in terms of leading that suit, because it's not a full-blown open that suit saying I've got 5+ cards in that suit, which is what it says when your right-hand opponent, the declarer, opened a heart or a spade. So you use that information. You can use that information to determine what, you generally never want to do it against hearts and spades unless you think your partner's short. Okay, and you kind of go down a priority structure because 96% of the time they're going to have at least 4+ diamonds. But in clubs, it's closer down to around 60% they'll have more than 3. But sometimes they can have only 2, especially if they play a short club. Actually, 4% of the time they'll have only 2. All right. Okay, and this is kind of what I call the hiding the weeds defense. Okay, so if you've got things that you don't want to finesse yourself in the other 3 suits, and the only thing left is to lead the suit the declarer originally bid, and that's the way you think you're going to get the maximum number of tricks, take it. All right, now, earlier on I talked about a special convention that's used against 5+ level contracts. Okay, and you have the ace king. And as strange as this sounds, it actually comes up quite a bit, especially against a 5 of a minor, or against a small slam. Okay, because there's many times that they'll have only there are situations where the opponents get carried away and they bid 6 with 2 quick losers to the suit. It happens quite a bit, especially if they think they're behind. Okay, and then there's the other situation is they've got a singleton. Okay, and now the question becomes, is it safe to take the ace and then play the king, or play the king and then take the ace? So against the 5+ contract, there's actually 2 ways to approach this so that you actually are communicating with your partner. Remember, this only applies in 5+ level contracts. Okay, and the most important thing you want to do in terms is one, finding out if your partner has the queen. Okay, and we're going to learn about attitude signals in about 2 weeks. Okay, so what you really want to do is say, hey partner, have you got the queen? Okay, and the other one is ask your partner for a count. All right, so let's stay here with the attitude. So if you lead the ace, think of ace and attitude. It says, hey, give me attitude and tell me you've got the queen. All right, now if they've got the queen, they're going to give you a positive response. We're not going to discuss what the positive response should be, but just that you're trying to get that information from them, trying to talk back and forth. And so you're saying by leading the ace, hey, partner, you have the queen. Okay, and the reason you want to know that is if they say no, it's highly likely, especially uh, if if you see that there's shortness, potentially shortness in the player's hand, that leading the king. Let's say that the queen is on the board. You look at it and say, oh well, I can see that. Or if you don't see that, well, is it safe? Are you going to set up tricks for the declare by leading the queen and the king and letting it get rocked? Okay, so that's one of the reasons that you want to ask your partner. Okay, the second one is count. Okay, and the count is, let's say it's an unbid suit, and what you want to do is there a reasonable chance they overbid their hand and you have two quick losers. So if you look at your hand and you've got three and the dummy has three, and your partner can give you a count of how many cards they have in their hand, whether it's positive or negative, okay, you can make some interpretations as to whether they declare might have another one in their hand. Okay. For example, if you got three and the declare's got three, the dummy's got three, and your partner gives a signal that says they got an odd number, the probability is extremely high that the declare also has two, because 3 plus 3 is 6, 3 more makes 9. That would say they've got 4. If they've got partner's got 5, that would say, well, they've got 2. So you can do the basic math using this lead signal to determine whether it's safe to lead that card or not. All right, so, and we'll run into this one again. I just wanted to point it out at this particular point in time. It's one of those things, it's kind of an odd sock that you don't have a pair to, and you just don't have the right time to talk about it. So I wanted to introduce the topic to you here. Okay, and it's what we call a situational lead. It's based upon the bidding and the number of cards you've got. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's see. Does anybody have any questions at this particular point in time? If you do, raise your hands, and let's go ahead and see if I can answer those questions. Okay, doesn't appear that I got any questions right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to go to Shark. I'm going to go over here to chat. I'm going to send you the chat for for Shark. Let's see if I can get my cursor in the right place and hit enter. All right, I think I got the right one. Let me see. Okay. All right, let's see if people go ahead and click on that, and let's see if we get people to join. I'm going to start. There we go. I'm going to come over here, start a new share, and come over here and put this one up. And before I do this, I'm going to suspend. Okay, everybody is at Shark now. Let's go ahead and start reviewing the hands. Okay, up here at the left-hand corner, we have the auction. And what we want to do is review that. East opened 1 spade, so they got 5 plus spades. And then West went ahead and bid three spades. And typically this is a preemptive raise. I'm not sure why he bid 3 spades, but he did. Okay, and that went pass, pass, pass. So now it's up to us to determine what we want to do. Okay, and we look at our hand here. We've got 2 spades, we've got 4 hearts, we've got 3 clubs and 4 diamonds. Now, when we look at this, we go, well, we could lead trump, except we expect them to have 5-3. We don't have 4, so leading a trump is really not a real good option at this particular point in time. Okay, and the hearts are weaker than our diamonds. So, and if we evaluate this in terms of how much our partner needs to have, they really, if they've got the queen of diamonds, that would be good, because then if the east is over here and jack is over in east hand, we could trap that. So if our partner's got one diamond on her, we're in pretty good shape. For hearts to be the right lead, our partner really needs to have at least two on it. Okay, so I have to give the edge to leading the diamonds now, because that's more powerful. So what we're going to do is we've chosen the diamonds to lead, and this is going to be, and we've got a code at 9 that we can do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lead the 9 of diamonds. Okay, and our opponent is going to go ahead and cover that with the jack, and our partner is going to take the ace, and they're going to then return another diamond to us. Okay, and they're going to return the 7. It comes back, and we go, well, okay, we've got our 2 diamond tricks. We can see that we set up a diamond trick in dummy, and we go, well, we don't want to break a new suit if we can, because every time we break a new suit, we give away a half a trick. So we're just going to go ahead and leave another diamond. And lo and behold, they do split 4, 3, 3, 3. So now it's up to the declare to break a new suit. And let's go ahead and show all the hands, so you can get a better idea of what's going on and what's going on in the declare's head. So we do that, and we can see that we're in the dummy with the diamond, and the declare's got really strong spades. So at this particular point in time, it says, well, let's go out there and see if we can draw some of the spades just to find out what's going on. It says what we're looking for is a 3-2 split. Okay, and he says, okay, the first one split, it leads it again. There's no real value in his hand of keeping the trump, because he's got the hands match. He's got 3 hearts and 2 hearts and 4 clubs and 3 clubs. No roughing ability. So I'm going to go out there and get that last one. Okay, and let's say our partner is going to give a positive signal for spades by playing high even hearts, and that's, we'll get into suit preference signals in a couple of weeks. Okay, but what he's doing is says, I'd like to have a club. Okay, now we're back over here, and he's got a real quandary. He says, what can I do? Well, I said, I can develop the clubs. Okay, I've got the king, queen, jack, so he's going to lead towards his honor. Okay, and I'm going to play low, and he jumps up with his queen. Okay, he says, okay, that worked. Now I'll go ahead and I'll lead another club. All right, now perforce I'm going to take that ace, and I'm going to return. I can do one of 2 things. I can return another club here, or I can go ahead and play a diamond. Okay, I know that there are no more trump out in West, so I can put the onus back on the declare by leading the diamond. And he throws away the heart, because he knows he's got his club set up if the club is split. So partner signals he's got something in hearts, and the declare rust with the 5 of spades, and says, well, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my king of clubs. So if they do split, he goes, they did split. So my 8 of clubs over there is good. So he goes, what I'm going to do now is, if you see him coming back over here, he's going to take that ace. Okay, I'm going to take that ace of clubs. Throw away the 8 of clubs, throw away the heart, and what he's going to do is make an over trick, because he played extremely well. Okay. Okay. If he'd had to take that heart finesse, he would have gone down 1. Now, One of the things that, and there's really nothing I could do to prevent that, except take the ace of clubs and then lead the heart. Okay, if I really examine the clubs, I would know that he's setting the clubs up, and that I look at my hand, I've got 3, he's got 4, know that possibly there, he can set up that 4th club. And instead of leaving the club back, I should actually return the heart. Okay, and that way, the declarer has to make the decision of whether to take the finesse or not. If he takes the finesse, my partner's going to win the king. So I didn't play very good defense on that. So let's go and look at the second hand and see what we've got here. Okay, so here, I think I didn't do something, so you might not have been able to see what went on in that first hand. So let's go ahead and replay that again, just for the heck of it. I can't. We're on hand 2. So let's discuss this hand. The bidding is 1 spade past 4 spades. Okay, so what we can deduce from the 1 spade, 4 spades is West probably has 5 plus spades and somewhere between 6 and 10 high card points. Okay, and we don't want to lead spades because we'd just be finessing ourselves. We don't want to lead hearts or clubs because we'd be finessing our king. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the lead unbid suit where we've got nothing in it, and we're going to hope that our partner has something in it. So we're going to lead that 6 of diamonds. Okay, and let's see what our partner has. So come up here. We're going to okay, so we can see what our partner has. So they play a low diamond. Partner plays the 10 and take the ace. Okay, and so our partner at least has something in the diamonds. Okay, now the declarer is looking at his hand and says, well, let's go ahead and see what the situation is with the trump. And, you know, as soon as the dummy came down, we knew that as South, we're going to get a spade trick because it's guarded by queen is guarded by two tricks. And now the declarer says, all right, I picked up my one round of trump. Okay, the singleton queen didn't fall. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to the dummy's hand in diamonds and hope that everybody has one. So it comes over, and now he's going to lead the jack of spades, and he's going to try to take the finesse. Okay, and lo and behold, the finesse doesn't work. Now, if we look at our hand right here, okay, we can still finesse ourselves by leading the heart or leading club, or leading a diamond. That probably doesn't hurt us because they've already been led twice. He's probably going to be able to set up those last 2 diamonds. We know the king is good. Now, what we can do here is, though, actually get a twofer. We can lead the 8 of spades and draw 2 of his trump because we know our partner's out. Because to bid 1 spade, he needs to have 5. Now, our partner gives us a positive signal with the 5 of hearts. Okay, and the declarer says, okay, now let me see if these diamonds are going to split. He takes the diamond. Okay, he says, aha, they did split. So let me see what I can do now. Okay, so he says, I could take the finesse in clubs, or I can lead the diamond and throw away a club. Okay, or I can throw away a heart. So he takes the diamond and he throws away a heart. Okay, now he's only got 1 heart. See what he's doing here? And he says, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finesse that queen club. So he leads the 7 of clubs. 9 comes out, he plays the queen, take the ace. Okay, now I lead the heart. I lead another heart. And he roughs it. Then he knows the king is still outstanding. Now he leads a low club. He plays the 8 just for the heck of it, because he knows he's got a club loser. Okay, and he gets the last two tricks. He can trump he can trump the heart, and it can lead to the ace of clubs. Okay, so he made his contract, but if we didn't lead that diamond, he very possibly would have made an over trick. Now let's go to hand number 3. Okay, now in hand number 3, okay, we have 1 heart, 2 hearts. Okay, and we really don't have any information. Now, normally, we don't like leading from a doubleton. We said avoid that. But if you have a control in the trump suit, and you have the ace of hearts, it's something we should consider. Okay, so we could lead a low club saying we've got the ace, king, or queen, but we're kind of maybe finessing ourselves. We know our partner probably has around 10 points, so he's got cards somewhere. So we've really got 3 choices. So because this is a suit contract, and we know that most we're ever going to get is 1 heart trick, we'd love to get that up to 2 heart tricks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to lead doubleton because we have the ace of hearts. So we lead the ace of hearts, and the Claire is going to try to buy the trick cheat with the 10 of spades. So it leads the queen of spades, plays the queen of spades. Okay, now it takes the ace. Now notice that the ace, 10, queen have been played. Let's go ahead and let you see your partner's hand. Okay, and given that the ace, queen, 10, 8 have been played, our partner looks at his hand and says, okay, there's the jack. My 9 is the high card after the jack, so I don't have to play it. All right, I've got a surround of that jack. All right, so now the Clara says, well, let's go ahead. Let's find out the bad news about the trump. So we're going to go ahead and leave the 10 of hearts and find out what the situation is with the hearts. So he leads the hearts. We immediately jump up on it with the ace of hearts, okay, because we're going to lead a spade. Okay, and our partner jumps up with the 9. Okay, he can see the jack of spades here in the dummy's hand. It says, I don't have to play the king because the 9 is high. Okay, and lo and behold, he wins that trick. Okay, now we gave him an echo, but we did a high-low. He says, okay, my partner had 2 to start out with. Okay, so that's 8 of them been played, 9, 10, 11, 12. East has still got 1. So he said, well, I can lead the king and win the trick, but that will set up the jack of spades. So what he decides to do, being a really, really sneaky guy, is he goes ahead and he leads the 6 of spades to give me a rub. All right. Now, look at what's left. He's got the king of spades. The jack of spades is still here. He did not set up that jack of spades. So now at this particular point in time, I've taken the trick and I've got the diamonds and the jack 10, 9. I've got the king of clubs. I don't want to finesse myself. And I really don't want to finesse my partner either. So what I'm going to do at this particular point in time, knowing that my heart is not any good, he probably has all the other hearts, is I'm going to lead a heart. Okay, and yeah, that may help him out a little bit. Okay, but he's trying to figure out what to do. He's got diamonds and he's got clubs. So he says, well, I want to lead. Where does he want to be? He says, I want to be in his hand. So he takes the king of hearts. So I'll let you guys see the declares also. So he wants to be in his hand because he wants to lead towards that queen of diamonds. So because he doesn't want to have to leads towards it, and he's hoping that I have the ace, and he might actually be able to set up two diamonds. So he plays the queen, and my partner takes the the ace of diamonds. Now my partner leads the king of spades, and he's forced to trump it because his king is higher than the jack. Gets played. Now back in his hand again, he's got two hearts. He's got two hearts, a diamond, and three clubs. Okay, and he's really in a pickle. Okay, because what he'd love to be able to do is somehow get rid of these clubs. And he says, well, okay, well, maybe I can get them to help me out by establishing a diamond trick. Okay, he leads the diamond. Okay, to take that king. He leads it. Okay, he says, okay, now what? I'll see if I can fake them out. What I'm going to do is go ahead and play the jack of clubs and see what I can draw out. He plays the jack. My partner covers that jack because he's got 10. 10 and the queen are equivalent cards. He covers that jack. Declare plays the ace, and he plays the 8. Now he says, well, okay, I'm just going to squeeze him. He's trying to squeeze me now. We're too smart for him. He squeezes and he squeezes, and lo and behold, now he has to leave the club. I can see that my 9 is bigger than the 6. Okay, my partner plays low. I play the king, and lo and behold, the declarer gets set 1. Okay, and it's because we played excellent defense. Okay, and every point we took the opportunity to put the declarer back in the lead, but all came back to the opening lead, where we led the 8 of spades because we had a doubleton, but we had the ace of trumps, a control, so that we possibly get a trump trick. That worked out. Now let's go to hand number 4. Okay, in this situation, let's look at the bidding. The bidding has been 1 heart by West, so he's got 4 plus hearts. We look at our hand and go, "Hey, I got 6, and I know where at least 10 of the diamonds are. Maybe East, West, and I have at least 10. Maybe there's even more." And then East goes 1 spade, and then West jumps to 4 spades. So we're saying that West probably, if the fit is 4-4 in the spade, so our partner probably has 4 spades, and he's got 4 diamonds, maybe more. So we look at our hand and we go, well, we don't want to lead spades because partner has 4, and we don't want to lead trump when our partner has 4 spades. We're just going to finesse it. Okay, our hearts, yeah, they're there. Maybe our partner has something in hearts. We don't want to lead clubs because we're hoping the East has the king. Now we go, well, okay, we've got diamonds here. We've got 6 of them. West has got 4. Maybe, just maybe, our partner has shortness. Okay, so we decide we're going to lead the diamonds. Okay, and then which diamond are we going to lead? Well, we're going to lead the 2 of diamonds. Remember, because we don't have anything particular in this particular suit, even though it's an opponent bid suit. What we're doing is going to lead through the strength, but we're going to lead the 2 of diamonds. Hopefully, our partner will interpret that as a lead directional and that we're pointing towards clubs. And they say, okay, I've got a bunch of, here, and then our partner roughs. Okay, let's look at all 4 hands. Okay, so our partner roughs that first trick. Okay, and now he says, well, what should I lead back? I want to get my partner. What could I, well, when I play the 2 of diamonds, it may be pointing to a lower ranking suit, to a club. So he leads a club, and he leads the jack because he's hoping that I have some clubs and that king of clubs. Well, I can see the king of clubs and dummy, so it really doesn't have any value of leading the jack. Okay, but he led the jack anyway, so he plays that, and I jump up on that. I take that, and I know there were 3 diamonds played on the first trick. I've got 5. That's 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. I know he's got 2 more diamonds. Well, maybe we can do this, and I can give him another ruff. So I give him another ruff, and I lead the 3, pointing back to the clubs again. Okay, he comes back and he trumps it again. Okay, and he says, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe something weird will happen at clubs." He leads the clubs again, and I look over. There's the singleton there, so I don't have to climb. And he takes the king of clubs. Now, all right, we've got all the tricks that we're going to take. We've taken 3 tricks off the top, 2 trump tricks and a club trick. Now, as it turns out, they have the ace, king, queen of hearts, so they have no heart losers. They've got the 9 of clubs, which they can ruff in West's hand, and they have the ace of diamonds. They're going to draw the last 2 trump, and they're going to make the contract by taking 10 tricks. But if we didn't leave that spade to begin with, they're going to take 11 tricks. And if you're playing duplicate, the difference between 11 tricks and 10 tricks is infinity. Okay, because we led the spade and we got a ruff, we're going to get a top board and they're going to get a bottom board. We led something else, they are going to get the top board and we're going to get the bottom board. So you can see how important it is to analyze the hand, make the determination of what the correct lead is. All right, let's look at hand number 5. All right, if we look at this hand, West opened a diamond, East bid a heart, and then West bid 2 hearts. So we know that he has 4 hearts, 4 plus diamonds, 4 hearts, and probably less than or equal to 15 points. Okay, now again, since they have 4 hearts each, and our partner probably has 4 hearts, we don't want to lead hearts again. Because we don't want to finesse our partner. And we don't want to finesse ourselves by leading away from underleading our kings. So what we're going to do is we'll lead diamonds. Because we're leading from nothing, and now another thing here is that we're going to be leading through the strength of the board, West, because he bid diamonds. So we're going to bid the 3 of diamonds. We're going to do middle, up, down. Okay, so we lead that 3 of diamonds. Okay, and let's look at all the hands just so that we can see what's going on. And we can see that they've got the ace, 10, 9, 6, and my partner's got king, queen, jack. So he says, well, let's go ahead and see what we can drive out. We're going to try to develop something in diamonds. Our partner takes the jack. Okay, now our partner is now going to make a very interesting lead. They're going to lead the king. Okay, by leading the king, it tells us that our partner has the queen because they play the bottom of the sequence to win the trick and then the top of the sequence to drive out the ace. Okay, if they didn't have the queen, East would have had the queen and would have won the trick. Okay, so we're going to give a high-low signal here, and the ace comes out. Okay, and our partner, paying very astute attention, now knows what the distribution of the hand is. He knows that East has 1 more diamond. I've got 1 more diamond. He can see the 2 diamonds in dummy. So he knows that queen of diamonds is good as soon as he can get in the lead. All right, now the declarer says, okay, let's find out about the heart. So he leaves the heart and says, okay, now I want to be able to try to finesse the queen of hearts. He's going to place the queen of hearts in my hand, the South's hand. So he's going to try to get back over to the clubs. Says, well, this is my perfect opportunity to try to finesse the queen of clubs. So he comes over and he leads that 9 of clubs, hoping that he can. And our partner's got the 10-8 that surrounds that 9, so plays the 10. So the jack, because 9 has been played, the jack 10, 8 all become the same card. And the declare says, well, this is my only opportunity for the finesse. He takes it, and we lead. We take the trick with the king of clubs. All right. Now, our partner, and we know that our partner has the diamond. Okay, and we're going, okay, we've got four clubs. And what we can do is we're trying to figure out what's the best way of doing. We can see there's two diamonds. We don't want to set that diamond up. We can't. So we decide on leading the club back to our partner. Gets played, plays the 8. He paid attention, knows that 8 is the same as the jack, and the declare takes the 6. Okay, and the declare says, well, I don't want to leave the diamond. It's time for me to try the finesse and heart. So he leads the finesse, the jack of hearts, and I play the 3 of spades, indicating I've got something in spades. And he gets the bad news that my partner's got the queen. Now he's got to decide whether to lose this trick. He says, okay, I'm going to lose this trick. And hopefully the North will lead something back that will help me out. Okay, and North, being very astute, says, I'm not going to help you. I got a twofer here. I can lead trump and make you take the trick, and we'll take away 2 of your trump. Okay, which is what he does. Okay, and now the declare is trying to figure out where he wants to be. Does he want to be in his hand, or does he want to be in the dummy's hand? He says, well, he wants to be in his hand, so he plays the 8 because he's going to play this diamond, and he's going to hope that he can then get back to the dummy with the king of hearts and play that diamond. And says, okay, I've got the king of hearts as entry, I've got the 10 of diamonds. Now my partner, being a really nasty fellow, leads the jack of clubs. Okay. And lo and behold, in order to take that trick, the declare has to ruff it with the king of hearts. And now he says, I'm going to cash my good 10 of diamonds, and my nasty partner now trumps it. Okay, and he overruffs it, and we throw away the 5 of clubs. We know there aren't any more clubs, and they're not worth anything. Now the declare is in real trouble. He's sitting here, and he has to lead spades himself. We're going to play low. He jumps up with that jack. Our partner takes the ace. The queen takes the ace, and then returns the spade to me. Okay, and lo and behold, he's down 2. We set him 2 tricks because we played excellent defense. Okay, defense is key to being a good bridge player. So let's look at hand number 6. Okay, and again, remember, this is the decision process is what type of lead do we want to make? What suit do we want to lead? What card do we want to lead? So let's look at number 6. Bidding has been 1 club by East, then 1 diamond, then 1 heart. Hey, it's got 3 plus clubs, 4 hearts, probably has more clubs, probably has 4 or 5 clubs. And then West jumps to 4 hearts. Okay, now for West to jump to 4 hearts, that means he's got 4 hearts, and he's probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 or so points, because his partner could have been a little bit light. So what we can deduce from that is that he's got 5 diamonds and 4 hearts. He could have more diamonds, okay, and 4 hearts. But now, so we analyzed the hand and said, okay, now we look at our hand, we've got 3 ugly hearts. So if our partner's got anything in hearts, it's either going to win outright, or it's finessable, or we've got clubs. So we've got to make a decision here of which one we want to lead, the king of clubs or the hearts. Now, which one can do the most damage? Okay, so we're looking at this and saying, well, he's probably going to try to cram those diamonds down his throat. Okay, and if he's got the king of clubs, the ace of clubs, it really doesn't make any difference. He's going to do it anyways. So we go, well, the best thing we can probably do is lead hearts to minimize his roughing ability. Okay, just maybe that'll help us out. So we leave the two of hearts. Okay, and let's look at all the hands. Okay, and the declare says, okay, thank you very much for leading that. I don't have to guess where the 9 is. I'll go ahead. I mean, where the jack is. He plays the 9. Jack is played. He takes this and says, okay, let's figure out where we want to be. He says, okay, I want to ultimately be able to lead towards my ace of clubs. Well, I actually want to be able to lead my queen of spades for finesse. Okay, and he says, okay, so we're going to win the tricks in Declare's hand. So he leads another heart. Says, all right, let's go ahead and lead the heart. Let's pick up the hearts. So he picks up the heart, and our partner indicates gives us a positive signal by playing 3 of spades. So I know he's got a spade. All right, now the declare says, all right, let's squeeze them. He says, all right, let's go ahead and find out how these diamonds work. And he's hoping that the diamonds split 3-3. Okay, if they split 3-3, he's going to be able to run those diamonds. So he's going to go ahead and take those 2 diamonds. Okay, and if they don't split 3-3, he's going to trump the 4th diamond in his hand and set up the 5th diamond on the board. So he plays that diamond, and lo and behold, it works. And he says, well, okay, I'm going to get rid of a club. Okay, because he goes, well, I've got the ace of clubs. Okay, and I get rid of 3 clubs, and this queen fits well with that ace jack. I might be able to get some more tricks. Okay, so he plays the diamond. Okay, and now he's going to proceed to continue to throw away those clubs. Okay. And now this is the opportune time. He says, okay, I'm going to lead the queen of spades. And my partner, being a good partner, hoping that I've got the jack, goes ahead and covers the king with the queen with the king. He takes the ace. All right, and he says, all right, now I can go ahead and lead the jack of spades. Jack of spades is good. Okay. Throws away the club. And now leaves another spade. Okay, and he roughs it. See how he's using his trump individually to take tricks. Now he takes the ace of clubs, and lo and behold, he leaves the last club and he roughs it, and he takes all 13 tricks. Okay, and we thought we had a chance of setting them, but we made the right lead. It had the greatest potential of doing him damage because he was 4-4. He was just too strong. Now, the good news is they only bid 4 hearts and they made 7. So if other people bid 7, we got a good board. Well, I hope that I'm going to. I hope that the lesson was a good lesson for you, and thank you for attending. I'm going to go ahead in the webinar, and I hope you enjoyed the recorded lesson.